Hello, my name is Ken Owens, and I'm a technical support analyst with the Identity Management team, focusing primarily with the Oracle Access Manager product. I would like to welcome you to the Oracle Identity Access Management Insight session titled How to Remove the Footprint of the 11G Oracle Mobile Security Manager application. This is a 10-minute presentation that is recommended for anyone who is using the 11.123 version of OMSM and is upgraded to OAM 12.2.130. Today's agenda will cover an overview to define the scope of this presentation, then proceed to going over topics like removing the WLS OMSM managed server, cleaning up the domain structure for the OMSM server, and removing the OMSM server schema objects from the database, wrapping it up with a quick summary. The terms Oracle Mobile Security Manager, OMSM, and MSM will be interchanged throughout this presentation and mean the same thing. This presentation provides the steps to remove the footprint of the 11G MSM application. The MSM application is not supported in any OEM 12C environment. It is recommended to remove its components in order to avoid any potential issues from accidentally trying to start the WLS managed server running MSM. The prerequisites are have an Oracle Access Manager 11G environment that uses MSM. This 11G environment has been upgraded from OEM 11.123 to OEM 12.2.1.3. There are three areas that MSM will need to be removed from: the WLS domain, the WLS domain directory structure, and the database. The order by which they are removed is not critical. At the conclusion of this presentation, you should have a better understanding of the steps required to remove MSM from the WebLogic configuration, the directory structure, and the database. Before we start to remove the MSM server components, make sure you have a good backup just in case any issues occur. We will start with the 9 steps to remove the MSM managed server from the WebLogic domain using the WebLogic admin console. Step 1. Make sure only the WLS admin server is running. Step 2. Access and log into the WebLogic admin console with an admin user like WebLogic. Step 3. Navigate to the Environment, Clusters, Coherence Cluster section. Step 4. Select the coherence cluster name that contains members that include the MSM server. Step 5. Select the Members tab. Step 6. Uncheck the MSM server and then select the Save button. Step 6A. When the Save button is finished, you will see a message in green that states something like, all changes have been activated, no restarts are necessary, settings updated successfully, and the OSM server is now unchecked. Step 7. Navigate to the environment servers. Step 8. Select the MSM server by putting a check in the box next to it and select the Delete button. Step 9. When the delete is finished, you will see a message in green that states something like the following. All changes have been activated, no restarts are necessary. Selected servers have been deleted. Notice that the OMSM_server1 is no longer shown. Depending on the WebLogic server type, production versus development, additional steps may be required to activate these changes. Now that it is finished, go ahead and log out of the WebLogic admin console. Next, we will cover the 6 steps to remove the domain directory structure from the OS file system. Step 1. Stop the WebLogic and admin servers. Step 2. From a terminal prompt, cd to the location of the domain home/servers. Step 3. Execute the command ls. This will list directories of the server names. Note that the name of the MS server directory, in this case, it is called OMSM_server1. Step 4, execute the command as shown to remove the MSM server. Repeat this step as needed for any additional servers. Step 5, execute the ls command. Now the OMSM_server1 directory structure is no longer present. Exit the command prompt. Next, we will cover the 4 steps to remove the MSM server objects, schema objects from the database. Step 1. Using the preferred tool, connect to the database system schema and run the query as shown. From the query results, there should be one that shows the component ID as OMSM. Note the owner. Step 2. Using the 11119 RCU version to drop the MSN schema, this process has 9 steps, which we will cover 2A through 2I. Note that the RCU that comes with 122130 cannot be used. Step 2A. Run the command as shown to start the RCU application. This brings up the welcome page. Check to skip this page next time if you do not want to see the welcome screen the next time you start RCU. Click Next to continue. Step 2B. This brings up the repository creation screen. Select Drop to remove the component schemas from the database. Click Next to continue. Step 2C. This brings up Repository Creation Utility Step 2 of 5 Database Connection Detail screen. Fill in the database connection information. Continuation of Step 2C. Click Next once the database connection details have been filled in. Step 2D. This brings up the Repository Creation Utility Checking Prerequisite screen. Once the check is complete, click OK to dismiss the screen. Step 2E. This brings up the Repository Creation Utility Step 3 of 5, Select Component screen. First, select a prefix associated with the schema you want to drop. In this example, it is dev. Then select the Oracle Mobile Security Manager component. Click Next to continue. Step 2F. This brings up the Repository Creation Utility confirmation screen. Click OK to continue. Step 2G. This brings up the Repository Creation Utility Checking Prerequisites screen. When completed, click OK to continue. Step 2H. This brings up the Repository Creation Utility Step 4 of 5 Summary screen. This is a summary of the drop operation. Review the information on this screen. Click Drop to begin the operation summarized on this page. Step 2I. This brings up the Repository Creation Utility Step 5 of 5 Completion Summary. This is a completion summary of the drop operation. Click Close to finish. This slide is for reference as a summary of what we just went through using RCU to drop the OMSM schema. To see more detailed information for our specific screen, refer to the Fusion Middleware Repository Creation Utility User's Guide, Section 2.4 Dropping Schemas, at the URL shown. Step 3. Using your preferred tool, connect to the database system schema and run the query as shown. From the query results, notice that the component ID of OMSM is now gone. Step 4. Start the WebLogic admin and manage servers. We are now at the last section for this presentation, I will give a summary of what we have covered. We now should have a better understanding of, with only the WLS admin server running, use the WLS admin console to remove the MSM managed server from the WLS domain. With no WLS admin or managed servers running, clean up the domain directory structure for the MSM server. With no WebLogic admin or managed server running, use RCU to remove the MSM server schema objects from the database. Start the WebLogic admin and managed servers. Verify you can access and log into the WebLogic and admin consoles as well as any protected resources. The information presented in this presentation is also available in the KM note as shown. This concludes our presentation. Thank you again for tuning in today's Oracle Identity and Access Management Insight session titled How to Remove the Footprint of the 11G Oracle Mobile Security Manager application. We look forward to seeing you at the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.